All right, go.
Hi, fifth grade scientists. It's Miss Gira. I'm back, and we're going to do some more science. All right, so this week we are going to continue our topic of physical properties of matter. So I want you to go ahead and look at these items that I have in this bowl, and I want you to make some noticings. What are some things that you notice about these items? Well, I notice that there's some pretzels in here. There's like some cereal Chex Mix in here, some dry bread pieces. Some are circular, right? Some of the physical properties. Some are round. This one is round and has a hole in it. This one's kind of oval. These are square. There's different colors, right? Darker brown, a lighter brown. The textures are different, right? This one's kind of rough. This one is smooth. If I tasted them, they would probably each have a different taste and maybe even a different texture inside of them. I also noticed that these items are together. You know what that's called when you have at least two items that are together? That's called a mixture. This is a mixture. Now, ask yourselves, and maybe talk to your teacher, can I easily separate this mixture? If I was going to separate this mixture, how could I separate it? And if I separated it, would I change any of these physical properties? Talk to your teacher about that. So actually, I could easily separate this mixture by using my hands, right? I could use my hands as a tool. I could separate this mixture by taking this out, and this out, and this out. I could easily separate it. And when I separate them, am I changing their physical properties? No. If I mix them together, am I changing their physical properties? No. They're gonna taste the same. Their colors stay the same. I can easily separate them, and I can easily mix them together without changing their physical properties. That's called a mixture. Now, let's look at these two items. This is salt, and this is water. So talk to your teacher about the physical properties of water, and then talk to your teacher about the physical properties of salt. So some physical properties of water are, it's clear. Another word for that is transparent. It's a liquid. Its state is in the liquid state right now. It doesn't really have much of a smell. Doesn't really have much of a taste, the water, okay? And the salt. So if you get a little bit closer, it's white. If I touch it, it's kind of rough between my fingers. It's a solid, so its state is in the solid state. If I taste it, tastes salty. Yeah, so it definitely has a taste. All right, so those are the physical properties of salt and water. Now I am going to mix these together. And I want you to talk about it once I do, and ask yourself, do any of the physical properties change once I mix them together? So you'll notice I'm kind of seeing some change. I'm going to stir this. And what are you noticing are some physical properties that changed? Once it settles, the water looks a little cloudy. It's not as clear anymore. It's a little more translucent. That means I can still kind of see through it, but it's cloudy. So it's not as transparent as it was. It's not as clear as it was. It's cloudy. I also can't see any salt. Miss Gira, are you magic? Did that salt just poof, disappear? I don't know, let's see. Well, for one, my water's a little cloudy. And two, I bet if I taste it, that's salty. So I know that my salt is still in there. And I bet you if I had the mass of the salt and the mass of the water from before, and then when I got the mass after I mixed it, it would be a total of the mass of the water and the salt in here if I took its mass. And I know salt is in there because I just tasted it, and it tastes very, very salty. But what physical properties changed? The water is still a liquid, although now it's cloudy, so the color kind of changed. And the solid salt is not a solid anymore. So its physical property did change. It completely changed. It dissolved in this water. So it didn't just vanish, but it did dissolve. So it is soluble, salt is. So its one of the physical properties of salt is that it is soluble. It dissolves, but it didn't just go away. It is still in here. So talk to your teacher and ask your teacher, can we separate these easily? Would I be able to separate the salt from the water easily if I tried right now? And if I could separate them, how? What tool would I need to separate them? I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. We can separate these. We can't do it easily though, but we can. I am going to separate these by changing the liquid water into a gas by evaporating it, and see if I have salt left over after that. So a quick way, remember that we can evaporate water or change water into a gas, from a liquid to a gas, is I'm going to take it to boiling point. So I'm going to add heat in my metal conductor, right? Because metal is a conductor. I'm going to add heat to this water and change it from a liquid to a gas and see if I can get my salt back. We'll be right back. All right, so now I am adding heat to my salt water. And we are going to wait for it to boil. And at that point, that's when liquid water is changing into a gas. We'll be back. Oh gosh, look at that. Water is boiling. It is turning from a liquid to a gas. It has reached boiling point. What temperature is boiling point? I hope you said 100 degrees Celsius. So we are continuing to boil. You will notice that we have less water because it is evaporating and it's turning into a gas. You will also notice along the sides of the pan, there's something collecting along the side of the pan. We'll see. The water is almost gone. It is almost all turned into a gas. And look at all of that stuff accumulating on the side of the pan. What is that? My liquid water is almost all gone, and look at something is accumulating at the bottom of that pan. What is it, Miss Gara? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my heat because my water is completely evaporated. Now I'm going to use my insulated tool to hold on to my metal conductor. And I want you to notice, what do you think that is? That is salt. I was able to separate my mixture, but not easily. And I had to completely change the water, the physical property of water, from a liquid into a gas in order to separate it. So when you have two items that you mix together and the physical properties completely change, that is called a solution. So we were able to create a solution of salt and water to make salt water, but I had to boil the water and change its physical properties completely to separate it. So that is called a solution. And the same amount of salt that I started with is the same amount of salt that I ended with. It looks a little bit different, but once it dries and I break it apart, it would be the exact same amount of salt that I put into the pan. Is the same amount of salt that I have after dissolving the water. A solution. So tomorrow, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into mixtures and solutions. Have a great day, guys. See you soon. See you tomorrow.